In this video, we'll be taking a look at 4 NBA games happening on January 7th, 2026, and providing you with free team picks and total picks for each one of those games, so 8 picks in total. Welcome back to Cash Out Sports. Let's dive right into it. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe and to click the bell icon to get notified as soon as these videos get released so that you have more time to plan out your bets as we provide these videos on a daily basis. I can guarantee that you'll have all the important information that you'll need on these 4 NBA games after fully watching this video. One more thing before we start, if you would like to gain access to our best exclusive sports picks to take your journey to the next level, then check out our Patreon in the link down below where we offer our best single picks, parlay picks, and much more. Now let's get started. New Orleans Pelicans versus Atlanta Hawks. Trey Murphy III went off last night, dropping 42 points on the Lakers, but his Pelicans still found a way to come up short for the 8th straight time. They now drag a rough 2-13 straight-up road record into Atlanta, facing a Hawks team that is trying to pull itself out of its own slump. Over this losing streak, the Pelicans have fallen into a bad offensive funk, with only Dallas and Sacramento posting a worse offensive rating in that span. Defensively, it has been just as ugly. They are giving up 122.5 points per 100 possessions, which puts them 28th in the league over that stretch. And their net rating over the last 8 games is better than only the Kings, and they are losing by an average of 12.2 points per night, which is a brutal way to live on the road. Atlanta is stuck in a bit of a rut as well, but there is a hint of relief in the air as the stalemate between the front office and Trae Young looks like it might finally be nearing a conclusion. With the superstar point guard having formally requested a trade in this write-up, there is a real sense that we may have already seen his last appearance in a Hawks jersey as the team looks to move him in the coming days or weeks. Interestingly, when Young sits, this group is 15-13 straight up, while with him in the lineup, they have won only 2 of 10, so the on-court product has not exactly suffered without him. In that setup, Jalen Johnson takes over the reins offensively as the primary option, and the offense runs more through his decisions. There is also a spotlight on Kristaps Porzingis in this analysis, with the idea that his length and shooting range present a serious matchup problem for a Pelicans side already leaking points. If we assume Young is out again, the situation tilts toward Atlanta having a very favorable platform here. They have the rest advantage at home. They are facing a New Orleans team that is spiraling and lugging that awful road record behind it. The first meeting between these teams this season ended 115-98 in favor of Atlanta in New Orleans on November 23rd, which marked the Hawks' 4th win in the last 5 head-to-head matchups. On top of that, New Orleans sits at just 2-18 straight up in 20 road games, which paints a clear picture of how often their road trips unravel. Not long ago, it looked like the Pelicans might finally be turning things around, but the current run has slammed the brakes on that narrative. They are 0-7 straight up and against the spread in their last 7. Add in the note that they have already lost 16 times at home, and the trust level sinks even further. This analysis also pulls in the context that the Lakers have strung together a strong week, that there is a chance they get Gabe Vincent back as a helpful depth piece, and that they have won 9 of the last 10 against New Orleans, with 2 double-digit wins over the Pelicans already this season and no loss to them since December 2023. All of that wraps into a picture of a Pelicans team that keeps getting pushed around by stronger opponents, which makes it very hard to back them with any real conviction here, especially on the road against a rested Hawks side. So, when you weigh the current form, the matchup angles, and the mental state of both teams, the reasoning naturally leans toward Atlanta handling its business as the favorite. As our first pick for this matchup, the Atlanta Hawks to win and cover the spread as favorites is our full game side pick. Both of these teams lean toward offense and come in with plenty of defensive issues. They have the personnel and styles that usually support high-scoring games, and that is exactly why this total has been set so high. Even with that in mind, this number is framed as outrageously high in the analysis, which forces you to think about how many things have to go right for the over to cash. The expectation here is that Atlanta finds some defensive pride at home against a struggling opponent. Facing one of the worst current form teams in the league, there is room for the Hawks to buckle down just enough to slow New Orleans for long stretches. If the Pelicans' recent offensive issues continue and their legs show the weight of this skid, Atlanta can both put up a big offensive number and still keep the overall scoring in check by smothering New Orleans for key portions of the game. In that kind of script, you get a comfortable Hawks scoring output, but the Pelicans never quite hold up their end of the bargain for the over. That combination nudges the projected total towards staying under despite both teams' offensive reputations. As our second pick for this matchup, under the projected total is our full game total pick. Los Angeles Clippers versus New York Knicks. The New York Knicks have been awful lately, no need to sugarcoat it, but this is a spot where they can steady themselves on Wednesday night. They are the healthier group in this matchup, and that urgency of needing a win really does matter when you get back home and feel the crowd behind you. Here is the thing, New York still has an edge on both ends of the floor when you stack them up against a short-handed, flat Los Angeles team, and that kind of overall advantage usually shows up over 4 quarters. You can expect the Knicks to lean into their physicality, tighten the screws defensively, and let their main scorers carry the load on offense, especially with the pressure to snap this skid in front of their own fans. Los Angeles, on this red, simply does not bring enough consistency or depth to match that kind of focused effort for a full game, particularly in this building. So, even though their recent form has been rough, this sets up as the kind of bounce-back spot where New York does the job, takes control, and finally ends the losing streak with a solid home victory over the Los Angeles Clippers. As our first pick for this matchup, the New York Knicks to win and cover the spread as favorites is our full game side pick. Both teams lean toward offense and are comfortable putting up big point totals, so you are not exactly expecting a grind fest here. Look for New York to come in locked in and motivated, with that need to end the losing streak showing up in their energy and shot making on both ends, forcing turnovers, running, and turning defense into quick scoring chances. Los Angeles is dealing with defensive issues that put them in the mediocre bucket, so containing a fired-up Knicks offense for 4 quarters inside Madison Square Garden could be a real challenge. At the same time, the Clippers have enough firepower of their own to score the ball well enough to keep the pace up and do their part in pushing the total higher, even if they are chasing for stretches. Put all of that together, and you get the kind of script where New York's offensive burst drives the game. Los Angeles scores enough to keep things from bogging down, and the combined output pushes this matchup over the projected number on Wednesday night. As our second pick for this matchup, over the projected total is our full game total pick. Orlando Magic versus Brooklyn Nets. The Magic are still dealing with injuries as Jalen Suggs, Moritz Wagner, and Franz Wagner remain on the sidelines for this one. On the other side, the Nets have once again listed Haywood Highsmith as out. These teams last squared off on November 14th, and the Magic took that one 105-98. Back then, the Nets were only 1-11 on the season, so the context around that result was very different from what we are looking at now. Since then, the Magic have cooled down a bit, while the Nets have finally found something that at least resembles form. So this sets up as another game that feels like it should be close all the way. Orlando is still a deserved road favorite on paper, but there is a catch. This is the second game of a back-to-back for them, and that matters. The bigger issue with the Magic right now is consistency, or really the lack of it. They just lost to the Wizards last night as 7.5 favorites, which is the kind of result that makes you wince if you trusted them. They are now just 2-8 against the spread over their last 10 games. Honestly, that is a trend that is hard to ignore. Meanwhile, the Nets have the rest advantage. They are at home, and they have quietly won 5 of their last 9 outings. For this Brooklyn team, that counts as the best stretch of basketball it has put together all season. Zoom out a bit and the broader picture is similar. The Magic sit at 14-23 against the spread overall, which underlines how often the market has been a little too generous with their pricing. So while Orlando still holds the better roster on paper, the combination of back-to-back fatigue, shaky recent results against the number, and a home team playing its best stretch of the year tilts the value toward the underdog here. As our first pick for this matchup, the Brooklyn Nets to cover the spread as underdogs is our full game side pick. Orlando's defense has been leakier than usual lately, that part is true, but back-to-back spots often drag shooting numbers down. Tired legs show up in jump shots that come up short and in late cuts that miss chances at easy baskets. Brooklyn is not trying to play a track meet style. The Nets operate at a bottom 10 pace in the league and lean into more of a grinded-out defensive mindset. That kind of tempo naturally drags possessions down and increases the number of half-court trips where each look is contested and time is used. We have also seen the script for this matchup once already. In their first meeting, the two teams combined for only 203 points, which fits the picture of a slower, more methodical game. With Orlando coming off a tiring loss and Brooklyn likely trying to control the pace again, it makes sense to expect another lower scoring, half-court heavy contest rather than a free-flowing shootout. As our second pick for this matchup, under the projected total is our full game total pick. Utah Jazz versus Oklahoma City Thunder. The Jazz are still without Kevin Love, Ace Bailey, George Niang, and Walker Kessler, so their front court and depth rotation are pretty thin coming into this one. On the other side, the Thunder have ruled out Alex Caruso, Jalen Williams, and Isaiah Hartenstein among others, so they are not exactly at full strength either. Utah is stuck in its worst slump of the season right now. They just got blown off the floor by the Trail Blazers, which is not exactly the kind of result you want before stepping into a road game against the league-leading Thunder. Meanwhile, Oklahoma City is coming off a bad loss of its own, and that kind of embarrassment usually sharpens a good team's focus at home. With that setup, the line was always going to be massive. Even so, it feels justified when you think about how often this Thunder group has bounced back after a poor performance. The Jazz are leaking confidence, the Thunder are in front of their own fans with a point to prove, and that is a recipe where a strong contender can run up a big margin if things start to snowball. So, despite the number being high, this shapes up as the sort of spot where Oklahoma City can respond with a statement win and cover comfortably on its own floor. As our first pick for this matchup, the Oklahoma City Thunder to win and cover the spread as favorites is our full game side pick. The Utah Jazz are averaging 119.7 points on 46.2% shooting and allowing 126.8 points on 49.1% shooting. They are hitting 35.5% of their threes and 80.6% at the free throw line. On the other end, they are giving up 37.5% shooting from deep, while pulling down 44.5 rebounds per game. The Oklahoma City Thunder are putting up 121.9 points on 49.4% shooting while allowing just 107.2 points on 43.1% shooting. They are knocking down 36.7% of their three-point attempts and 83.7% from the stripe. Defensively, they are allowing 37.3% shooting from beyond the arc and grabbing 44.2 rebounds per game. So you have one side that plays in a lot of high-scoring games because it cannot get stops, and another that combines elite efficiency on offense with a much stronger defense. In a matchup like this, especially with a big number on the spread, there is a very real path where the Thunder defense controls things enough, the Jazz struggle to keep up, and the final combined total lands under a lofty projection despite all the firepower on the floor. As our second pick for this matchup, under the projected total is our full game total pick. That's all for now, so if you have any other games you would like reviewed, then leave a comment down below with the game you would like analyzed, subscribe to our channel, leave a like on this video, and we'll get to it as soon as we possibly can. We would also love to hear your opinion on the picks presented to you in this video, whether you agree or disagree with them, so leave a comment down below and do let us know.